Hi, I'm Mark Scherer. I'm the CEO and founder of Encompass Life and the host of the Encompassing Life Podcast. And today we have Devin Shea, who's in San Diego, California, and he is the owner of Aligned Life Chiropractic and Wellness. And he was a Division I athlete and his dad's a medical doctor. So I'm going to find out if there's any conflict between dad and son on this one. And he has gone down the preventive health method because he's found that it was been beneficial for him when he's had injuries in the sporting career, and has had a calling to take his life in a different direction than conventional medicine. So, Devin, welcome to the show. Great to meet you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir. And you said you're in beautiful San Diego and enjoying the weather out there again?
Yes, it could be worse. 75 and sunny, just like every other day.
Yeah. Well, I've been there a few times and gorgeous, beautiful town, beautiful.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
issue is it's in California, but other than that, I love
know.
it.
Yeah, you and me both, man. We're there.
Yeah. So you've had how long have you had your own business?
So I started my practice 18 years ago, and I started Aligned Life from scratch, starting day one with 0 patients on the book, which is a challenging situation to be working in. But I found that it really gave me an opportunity to get out into my community and get face to face with people, learn what some of their unique challenges were, and then try to put together solutions that would match what they needed. And so I did that for 18 years. I'm still practicing in that practice hands-on. And then in 2023, I acquired a second practice, and we've started to scale that model, and we're looking to build this out as big as we can, while simultaneously still keeping tabs on my own practice, the original Aligned Life practice.
Gotcha. So was this Aligned Life your first job out of chiropractic school?
Yeah. I just
Wow,
decided
dude.
to rent space from a guy. I can't even remember. It was maybe $1,000 a month for rent. He had the equipment, he had the space, he had a trained front desk person, and that allowed me just to focus on trying to build relationships and get people well. And yeah, it kind of took off from there.
So you worked at another chiropractor's office,
Yeah,
but were independent from him.
correct.
Nice, cool. That's a cool setup.
Yeah, it worked out good. Yeah, I was there
Awesome.
for about 2 years, and then we launched into our own space from there.
And so when you were in his other office, it was still Aligned Chiropractic.
The name has changed a couple of times. It was Shea Family Chiropractic originally, but then I realized at some point that I would want to hand this business off, whether that would be to my kids or to be able to make it a saleable entity at some point. So I wanted to take my name off of the front door, so that way if someone showed up, they wouldn't be looking for Dr. Shea necessarily. It could just live on past whenever I decided that it wasn't going to be my project solely anymore.
Gotcha. Well done, sir. And so now how big is your office you have now?
That's about 1,800 square feet. We've got a cool location that looks out over to the mountain range behind us, just some beautiful views, really calming space. And yeah, we're really happy in the location currently.
Cool. And are you the sole chiropractor? Do you have some other ones under your wing?
Yeah, so I am the sole chiropractor for Aligned Life. We also have associate faculty with Logan College of Chiropractic and Southern California University of Health Sciences. So we periodically have interns that come from the local chiropractic colleges to be able to teach them and give them really the experience that I maybe never had about how to launch into chiropractic practice successfully. We, as chiropractors, often they say we eat our own. And so I don't want that to be the case anymore. We really want to support these young docs and give them a great environment to be successful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. I mean, I wonder how many chiropractors are retiring every year, and is the influx making up for the ones that are leaving?
No, in fact, a lot of chiropractic colleges in the last 5 years have actually closed. So now there's negative momentum with respect to the number of incoming chiropractors based upon the baby boom generation that now we are losing as they go into retirement. So especially when it comes to good practitioners that really have good hands-on experience, we've really got some work to do in the chiropractic profession to be able to keep up with demand.
So you think it's just because of the baby boomers or dying off and retiring and going more sedentary?
Yes. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's just this huge trend in that direction that we've really got to work on trying to maintain the quality of the care for people as they get into those elder years, for sure.
Or the younger people appear to be interested in it as well, for kind of chiropractic treatment, or?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think actually demand in the global population has increased quite a bit. It's become more, globally accepted for people to go to a chiropractor and seek this out. Honestly, I think Mark, probably one of the most interesting parts about this is posture, which is oftentimes, especially what we work on in our practice, is one of the most impacting aspects of our health, and yet it is one of the least talked about components of our health.
Right.
Uh, it's the current way that we try to improve our posture is embarrassingly insignificant or insufficient to be able to correct the problems. And I think that people don't really understand the magnitude of the types of problems that they are experiencing because of having bad postural habits and the impact that that has on their spine and on the underlying nervous system. So again, we've got our work cut out for us. That's why doing things like podcasts are really great, trying to get that
Mm-hmm.
message out there to as many people as we can.
Gotcha. Educate people. And
Yes.
the younger generation on electronics, so they're always got their head down,
Yes.
and I mean that's we're laying in a chair and head down and curled under, and
Yes.
doing very little movement to strengthen the core and keep the spine aligned.
Yeah, exactly. And then what people don't realize is that the worse their spinal alignment is, the worse their posture is, the greater the impact on the underlying spinal cord and the nerve roots that are really the communication system of the body, the more that that impacts their entire health profile. We see people, these days, like you're talking about with this like forward flexed postural position.
Mm-hmm.
This position causes tons of stress on the spinal cord and the nerves that leave from the top part of the neck. Those are the nerve roots that go into the head, the face, the sinuses, jaws, ears, and eyes. So the creation of things like headache, migraine, sinus pressure, jaws clicking and popping, ears ringing or full, dizziness from that poor lack of alignment at the top part of the neck, and then how it builds into the upper back. So I
Right.
just don't think that people understand how much is being impacted with age. Sure.
Yeah. So we lost you again, but you were talking about the forward posture and the nerves being putting under pressure going into the brainstem and sinuses, and if you can kind of pick it up and kind of reiterate that, that'll be great.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, when we spend time looking down at a phone or a tablet or an iPad, this position, this forward flex position, causes stress and tension on the spinal cord as it passes through the neck going out into the body. Remember that the spinal cord is the communication vehicle of getting a signal from the brain into the body. So that postural habit that we do subconsciously really impacts stress on the cord, which then translates into things like headache, migraine, sinus pressure, jaws clicking and popping, ears ringing or full, dizziness, lowered energy levels. All of that stuff can really be impacted.
ADD,
Yes.
ADHD.
Yep. It
Um,
all ends up playing out in all these very different ways, but in very impactful ways.
right. High blood pressure, all that.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I've been around the health industry since I was a kid, and I play sports as well too. So, but just somebody could go into. I got a lot of friends who are chiropractors, and somebody could go into them with high blood pressure. They could do a couple adjustments. Next thing they know, their blood pressure's fine.
Yeah.
So the brain's communicating with the organs, but the organs communicating back to the brain. Then if that message comes in garbled,
Yeah.
maybe the brain's going to send something to that organ that's different than what it requires, and you got a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah, we always talk about garbage in, garbage out,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Bad signal into the nervous system, bad message going back out into the body. It's almost like the body is unable to adapt to the environment readily and appropriately.
Hmm.
And when that happens, we get dysfunction, right? And
Yep.
dysfunction comes in the form of symptoms.
Like my
So,
family,
you
that
know,
was dysfunction. Oh, kidding.
exactly. It's so true.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so now you said you're getting ready to launch another venture as well, another chiropractic company.
Yeah, so we acquired a second practice in 2023, and that practice is doing really well. So we're looking to scale and try to take on more practices. Again, there's this increasing need for chiropractic services because I think people are catching on to the idea that they don't want to go the medication route. They don't want to go the surgery route, the reactive paradigm. They want to be more proactive. They don't want side effects. They don't want loss of function because of poor
Yep.
surgical outcomes. And so they're seeking out ways for them to be able to stay healthier for longer as we are increasing our life expectancy. And so chiropractic ends up being the natural solution for that.
Yeah. I had a pretty serious injury a number of years ago now, and I have treated it with chiropractic and all holistic methods. I had a friend of mine who hurt his back about the same time as well. And I think he's on his third or fourth surgery now. And it seemed like every time he has a surgery, the next thing above it or next thing below it goes out too. And then he has to do something else and something else and something else. And I mean, I've had some pain throughout the years, and I'm continually gaining function, continually gaining strength, continually gaining flexibility. So, and I'm learning a whole bunch about myself and life and emotions and all that as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's so common. This story is one that we hear literally every single day in a chiropractic practice. Is surgery necessary sometimes? Yes, absolutely. Are we glad when we're in a massive crisis that we have surgical options? Yes, no question. But anything prior to that oftentimes is really not a surgical requirement. And accordingly, we can handle things differently and better. Chiropractors believe that the body has an inborn or a natural ability to heal. And if we give it the right environment to do that, then you're going to see that outcome very readily. So, we always talked about with our patients, you need to be eating well, you need to be moving well, you need to be thinking well, which is like the concept of stress and your self-talk and so forth. And then the last part, which is really the part that we focus on in my practice, is you need to be structurally well. So if you can do those 4 items consistently over a period of time to allow for healing, then your likelihood of great function, lower pain levels, quality of life, these are all realistic expectations.
Gotcha. Yep. So when you're opening a second location with the idea of opening multiple locations on top of that, are you looking to, is this something you're franchising, or is this something that you plan to own this multiple underneath your umbrella?
Yeah, it's a great question. At this point, I don't really have a clear path in my mind. I know that right now there's some private equity companies that are going around that buy up groups of chiropractic practices. And because they've been grouped together, they seem to have a higher evaluation. So I love the idea of getting a handful of these and then sort of selling them off as one product, and hopefully for a premium. That would be great.
Right.
So we'll see if that's something that can come to pass.
Gotcha. So the private equity companies are buying them up now, or are they going in, how to say that? I'm just going to spit it. Are they going in, or are they bastardizing the care practices?
Yeah, I think the key part is one thing that's cool about a chiropractic entity, a chiropractic practice, is it has to be owned by a chiropractor.
Right.
So if you can put someone in place to be able to oversee this situation or this group of practices, then you can still maintain the quality and really the soul of the practice. And I think that that's a key component of this. So as long as you have someone that can come in and that, just personally, I would never sell this to anybody who I didn't think would take care of my people, because
Right.
chiropractic is very much a relationship based
Yep.
business. And I want to make sure that my people are well cared for. So this is something that, would be very near and dear to my heart. It's my baby. Like I said, I literally started this from scratch. So I would only do it if it was going to be the right situation.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
was wondering, so many companies. So you said a chiropractor has to own it. Well, if you're
Yes.
having a group of investors,
Yeah.
where's the chiropractic ownership?
Yeah. Essentially, they put somebody as the 51% owner. They take the 49%, but then they control the decision making and things of that nature.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They've
Interesting.
been doing this with dental practices. They've been doing this with veterinary practices and so forth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know so many companies, as we keep getting up into greater and greater corporate, it's bottom line, bottom line, bottom line, bottom line, bottom line, which is,
Yep.
wonderful to focus on the money. But to me, the bottom line works great when we focus on the results of our clients. To me,
Yeah.
that's the
No
most,
question.
and takes the stress out of, looking at the bottom line, look at the bottom line. As long as my clients are happy, the business is good.
Yeah. That's the right
So,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah. I think keeping the focus there has to be the key. Otherwise, like you said, it does bastardize the well, really the soul of the project.
Right. So are you doing all these yourself, or you have partners with you as well? Or
This is all done on my own.
wow, dude, congratulations.
That's, at this point, my kids are a little older. I have a little more time for myself. And I truly enjoy this process. I love running a team. I like creating systems, and making sure that everybody knows what their role is and what their responsibilities are. I have a passion, which sounds really odd to say out loud, but of just like reading all these business oriented books. I love looking at all of this stuff. And so I find it more like a game than anything else.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that that's
yeah,
been fun.
yeah. What's your favorite business book?
I've got probably two or three that I think are at the top of my list. One is a book called Traction.
Yeah, Gino
Um,
Whitman.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
The second one is called Scaling Up, which is Vern Harnish, which is fantastic. And then I love the idea of like the E-Myth series.
yeah, Michael Gerber.
Yeah, and they've got one specifically for chiropractors. So I like looking at all those, thinking about, am I really a business owner, or am I the dreaded owner operator?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I like that stuff.
yeah, yeah. Me too. Whitman's book's probably the best book on business I've read.
I agree. Yeah, it's just such a implementable, not a big like umbrella perspective, but more like boots on the ground. How are you actually going to make this work
Yeah.
logistically? It's been profound.
Have you ever read Language in the Pursuit of Happiness for Business?
No, I got to look at this. What's the author?
Chalmers Brothers.
Okay, this is great. I'm going to write this down. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah,
I'm learning something, Mark. Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. Yeah, my day job is I'm a life coach, and also I do leadership development as well. And I have a university for people to be able to come in and turn their leadership skills way up. And it's interesting. We actually created a partnership with a university, or a university requested a partnership with us,
Okay.
actually, where people can take our classes and get a master's or PhD from the university.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice
And
work.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I had a master's level psychologist come do our classes about 3 years ago. And he said, man, what you're doing here is like next level PhD work. It's really different than anything I've seen. He goes, I got to introduce you to the dean of our school. He came in. I actually lived in the town I lived in, met with him. He grilled me for about 8 or 10 hours. And he goes, hey, man, you're onto something. And so he checked out our classes, checked out our clients, and said, hey, I'd like to offer you a PhD. And we also had to create a partnership with you. I'm like, well, dang, that's nice. And so
Unbelievable.
yeah, so now we have neurologists studying what we're doing. We have 4 papers coming out in the European Scientific Journal about what we're doing here.
Yes,
Yeah, it's really different. And here I'm like a redneck from South Texas, dude.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
and people were like, well, you can't have found a new way to doing life coaching because you haven't done this. Well, where does most change come from?
Mhm.
Somebody from outside the industry. I majored in engineering, so it's like I could tell there was stuff up with the way people were doing it. It's like I kind of took it apart and rebuilt it. And like, let's try this out. It's way faster. So,
That's exciting.
like,
So do I
yeah,
need to be calling you Dr. Scherer now?
yeah. No, just call me Mark, man. I got the PhD behind, but yeah, I love what I do. I mean, you love what you do too, and it's a game. I get to play a lot of different roles in.
Yeah, which is fun. It keeps it different every day.
Yeah, I used to be in the game and the roles were playing me, which sucked. But
This
when
is
I can
true.
play the roles, it's way the hell more fun.
Yep. Better to be the marionette than the puppets, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or when I used to get pissed off and piss would own me. Now I can play pissed off and have fun with it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like
Yeah. So how old are your kids,
I've got a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, two boys.
and what are their interests? They got the business side you
Yeah, these
have?
guys are they're very sporty. A lot of the similar sports that I played in high school and college. So they're very much involved with that. But then, the area of San Diego that we grow up in, these guys are very interested in getting good grades. They want to go to good colleges. They want to be very
Wow.
entrepreneurial. So they've got a very clearly defined path. It's so different than when I grew up. I mean, I think honestly, getting through undergraduate school at UC Irvine, I don't even think I knew what I wanted to do. And I had already gotten, a bachelor's degree. I had to go to Europe for 6 months with my then girlfriend, who then became my wife, to figure out what the heck I wanted to do with my life. And then I
Right.
came back and I went to chiropractic college. So it was one of those things. I think that because of the competitive nature of the way that the marketplace is, it encourages people to really define earlier
Yeah.
and earlier and specialize earlier and earlier. And they've done that.
I knew you had a strong woman in your life.
Oh yeah, you
Knew
got to have that.
I knew it. I knew it. So you went to Europe with your girlfriend and to be wife.
Yes. And here
That's
we are. Let's see. So, August 20th is going to be our 20th wedding anniversary. We're headed up to Bend, Oregon this weekend to go and celebrate that and do some hiking and some outdoor activities. So I'm really looking forward to it. It should be fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
And what does she do?
She's actually a pediatric PA. So if you were to take your kid to the doctor and they see
Mhm.
the PA, that's her gig. Super passionate about it. And then she also has a Instagram page that she does women's fitness and just does a great job. Her community is growing and getting bigger all the time and having more influence. So it's fun to watch her step into her entrepreneurial
Awesome.
lifestyle too, which has been fun.
How tall is she?
She she is 5'5.5", Mark. She'll make sure that you get that half all the
Get that
time.
half right.
Yeah.
And you're like what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3", 6'4" on a good day if my posture's in a good position and I just got adjusted. I feel good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So your kids are 6 foot or better too now.
Yeah, my 14-year-old is 6 feet tall. He's the starting setter on his volleyball team and doing really well. And then my little guy, he's 11. He's got some growing to do, but wait till that testosterone hits and then he'll
I'll
shoot
jump
off.
up.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So we're all over the place on our conversations
That's
here, but
okay.
let's just jump into the services of your business really quick. I like to get people to know who you are, and
For sure.
service is one thing, but who's laying their hands on you. What's the person about? You really get to know that person. So we're doing a
Yeah.
good job. You're doing a great job at that. Now, what services do you offer at your chiropractor?
Yeah, I think the key part is going back to this concept of posture. Like I said, I think the current strategies on how we fix postural problems are embarrassingly insufficient. So we take a very deliberate approach. One of the first things that we do is we have a patient come in and we assess them globally. So we'll have a conversation initially about what are some of their health concerns. We will do a full spine evaluation. We will take full spine x-rays. We take full postural photos. We digitize all of that so we have outcome measures that are not only qualitative but also quantitative. And then we go about creating a game plan that incorporates chiropractic adjustments.
Uh,
We do, each person gets their personally designed exercise program for not only their functional life but also their postural problems.
mhm.
And then we incorporate changes in their ergonomics. So I have every person take pictures of their body in relationship to their own workspaces, one from the front, one from the side, so that I can actually see what's going on. And we change the heights of their monitors, or we get rid of certain things, or we recommend standing desks, or all sorts of different changes. And then lastly, we incorporate full spine three-dimensional traction. And traction is one of the best ways to actually take us out of those slouched postures and get us
Right.
back into these more upright positions and be able to hold that. Kind of like an orthodontist would look at crooked teeth and they want to strengthen and reposition the alignment of the teeth. We do that for the spine.
Gotcha. So is this one where you're laying down and you strap yourself in and
Yes.
it seemed like really light pressure. I've had it done a couple of times. I feel like real light
Yep.
pressure, but it makes a huge difference. Has the body
It's
goes parasympathetic.
Yeah, exactly. We can get people out of that fight or flight mode and drop them into that rest, recovery, repair response. And I think one of the cool parts about it is the type of technique that we use. Everything that we're doing is research based. So there's literally hundreds of articles that have been written on this topic. I've actually now started to contribute to the research. There's
Mhm.
an article coming out this year on one of my case studies that we did that's coming out in the Journal of Spinal Health and Performance. So you'll be able to see literally my work done in the literature. And it just supports everything else that everyone else is saying, that having good posture over time is one of the easiest ways of being able to make it, so that you remain healthy for the long term.
Gotcha. You ever use a thing called a shockwave or lasers or any of that as well?
I don't actually have that in my practice, but I'm fully supportive of both of those techniques. Cold laser or red light therapy, and then the shockwave technique has become really popular. Even in the military setting, they're now
Yeah.
using those types of strategies, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. I had the guy he's building the shockwaves here in the U.S.
Nice.
and his prices were, "Huh, I'd like to get one for myself," like kind of a deal. I mean, really
Yeah.
very reasonable. I know
Yeah.
I've seen some for like 100 grand, and these are way underneath that. So
Yeah.
yeah. And anyway, I've used it. Gone to a chiropractor using it, made a big difference. I had a rotator cuff tear in my shoulder that had been flaring up, and I started using that shockwave, and it was dramatically different after every appointment.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the cool part is, can we use technology with a tried and true hands-on approach and
Yep.
blend the two or marry the two of those
Yep.
types of strategies? I feel like that's going to give people the best result. So in our practice, we really focus on having this like state-of-the-art facility, but also making sure that we keep the bread and butter of chiropractic message as a part of our
Yep.
solution.
Do you have I assume you have massage therapists as well that work with you?
Yeah, so we have 3 massage therapists in the office. They
Oh,
all kind
wow.
of do a little bit of a different strategy. So depending upon what type of person you have and the conditions that they are experiencing, we can, recommend certain people to get different outcomes. And I love pairing chiropractic and massage. I think that that's
Yeah.
a powerful solution.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Get the fascia to release,
Yes.
and yeah, makes a huge. It has adjustment stick. Otherwise, you make an adjustment. The fascia shows that memory to it. It has a tendency
Yep.
to pull it right back in.
Exactly. Especially if we're trying to make postural changes. Obviously, the muscles are connecting to the bones, so everybody needs to work together.
Yeah, cool. This is fun, dude. And you said you had a special for people who come in. So you like
Yeah.
a get to know you special, I guess.
Yeah, essentially what we do is we do free consultations for anyone that wants to come in and have a conversation around their health problems. So if you're, have a hunch that maybe your health problems are coming from your spine or from your posture, all you would need to do is just give us a call. The phone number is 858-521-8022, or you can find us at alignedlifewellness.com. You'll be able to get on there and you can schedule an appointment with our team. We'll get you in there. I will speak with you personally. So it won't be that I'm handing you off to anyone else. So you'll get one-on-one time with me, and we'll see if it's going to be something that we can help you with. If that's the case and you would like to move forward and we feel like it's appropriate, all you would need to do is mention this podcast. And instead of $150 for our initial evaluation, we do it for just $95, which I think is quite a steal based upon the fact that you would get x-rays, postural photos, the full exam, everything. It's kind of the works for less than $100.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've gone to a lot of different places. That's very reasonable, and especially for California, that's really great. I got
Yeah,
to put a California jab in there.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I do have one question for you before you get off. So, what do you love about life, Devin?
Oh man. Right now I'm in the season of being a father.
What do you
And
love
right
about being a
now,
father?
yeah, my kids are at a space where I really feel blessed to be able to be an intimate part of their daily life. I like taking them to school. I like picking them up from practice. I like talking to them about what happened at the game or what happened with their coach. I want to be involved in their life to be able to have the opportunity to influence that next generation. And the coolest part is my kids are totally doing more than I ever thought would be possible for them. So it's been really gratifying. So that's definitely the part that I love about life the most.
That's awesome, man. That relationship is so important. They're going through the ages you're talking about. Generally that's where the rebellion kind of starts. For people, their kids start to, hey, Dad, you're not as smart as I thought you were when I was 3, and and I believe I'm getting a little bit smarter than you are now. And but just to me, the greatest gift you can give kids is the gift of presence,
Mhm.
not not with the T, but with the E and the CE,
Yeah.
and teach them how life really works, and how to live, how to understand, how to play the game of life, man. That's the greatest gift you give your kids.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this season right now, I can tell they need the support as much as I can be there for them. So yeah, I'm just having fun just doing that and going all in on that.
Awesome. Well, Devin, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure talking with you. And
Likewise.
I look forward to hearing, seeing how many more businesses you can get going. So
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the time.
yeah, you too. Bye.